everybody. Welcome to the show. How are you? Good afternoon and good day to you. And man, I was on for a long time this morning. I mean, I don't even know why I stopped, quite frankly. I don't know quite why I even bothered to stop streaming. Because I was reading and doing some other stuff, and there was a little bit of cat playing. That's pretty much the only reason. The only reason, a bone to pick with Hal Sparks, we are cyclists, not bikers. Oh, I think I was reading text. Fear not. I believe in you, cyclists. I ride a motorcycle. I would be a biker. So it means it's a term of endearment. That's good. I like when we start with mild conflict right out of the gate with me in the chat room. Hi. We also had some strange trollage this morning, who apparently his big problem was that I wouldn't let him post anti-vax material in my chat room, and therefore I was violating his free speech. I hope somewhere in his life, he is able to have someone explain to him that while you have the right to a freedom of speech, you do not have the right to someone else's microphone, no matter how much you non-consensually want to try and pay for it. Right? That would be the consent's always been a difficult issue for the Republicans. They really have an odd understanding of what consent means and its sort of importance in general, I don't know, discourse between humans. It's something that seems to befuddle them. Other people's emotional roller coasters are not fun. Thank you, Al. I needed the distraction and laughter. That's what I'm here for. But I'm also here to, I occasionally lay down the hard truths. We were talking about that as I went, took a break, basically. Yeah, that guy wanted just 5 eggs so he could be on his way. The most expensive 5 eggs of his life. It's very strange, but okay. There's a lot to get to today, so I don't want to drag into anybody's Friday evening too much as we enjoy ourselves. There is a continuing role of the Republican Party eating itself, hence today's theme. But we also have some adjunct things. We have more panic from Glenn Beck, and we have an interesting crisscross of dum-dums. I never thought I would happen this. This is like the crossing the streams of dum-dum. Let me show you what I mean. Yeah, remember that guy? Yesterday he was in his red hanging sideways American flag, we're all in distress or whatever shirt. And today he's in his blue one. He wore the blue shirt today. And then tomorrow we'll have the white one. And then he can make a video of the red, white, and blue shirts at pointy point. I don't know where they moved to. This is a tarp-like background of some sort, right? Yeah. Does anybody know? Does anybody know, where he went? Anyways, he's got a regular mic stand. He's reading for paper. Here's his thing. Doesn't have his little Bongino box on it. So that's what I was curious about. Okay, here we go. Russel Brand. This is Russel Brand clip played on Dan Bongino show. So we get to watch two people misunderstand the same thing. It's kind of like a Russian doll of moron. Let's see. We'll see if we can get Baby Hal today. I couldn't get it working yesterday. It was being weird for some reason. Check this out. No, it fucking ain't. Oh, sorry, is it not playing? Sorry, that's my bad. I'll fix it again. Hold on. That's my bad. Sorry about that. Let's start again. Ahem.
Check this out.
It seems like years ago that we were hearing that Trump was colluding with Russia, that he wouldn't have won the election without Russia, that his whole presidency was a kind of Putin plot. Well, there's now serious evidence that it was the Clinton campaign and Hillary Clinton acolytes that were directly involved in the...
Yeah, no, there fucking wasn't. There's not clear evidence. There's an indictment from fucking Durham that you're misreading because you're a fucking moron. Because what you're seeing here, I'm sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean Siri to swear in front of you. I apologize. What you have here is a complete asshole, giving the illusion that he's a different kind of an asshole. Like, yeah, I'm a fucking asshole, but I'm like a lefty asshole. When he's really a far-right asshole in hippie clothing. He's basically going for like the Alex Jones Jesus money.
Generation of what has proven to be a conspiracy. Untrue. Think about how much media
That's a fucking lie. How much media you consumed on the internet, on YouTube, where someone's lied to you and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I was being lied to this whole time by this dipshit in a draggy white shirt with a pile of wood behind him, so it makes him look like he's living off the fucking grid when he's absolutely not, and he's getting like Alex Jones fucking money, and he's about this close to selling like lead-lined dick pills and supplements that can stop the COVID, yeah?
watched. Me, a person who I would think, broadly speaking, is from the left, a liberal.
No, I wouldn't think that at all, fucko. I would think you're like an anti-corporatist in your own mind, but mainly it's based on your hatred of authority. You have an anti-authoritarian streak because it used to get you fucking laid, and now you're pretending that you still believe that shit so you can sell a widely sought-after POV on YouTube for money, which is, deep state.
Certainly not a Trump supporting Republican.
Bullshit. The two biggest lefty Trumpsters in the world are Jimmy Dore and this asshat. Both of them have constantly run interference for Trump for 4 fucking years. Blocking every bullet they can. Like, their dedication to this task has made it so that, I think Michael Cohen is jealous.
With respect to those of you that are, I find myself...
What fucking respect to you, those of you that are? You mean all of your fucking audience?
In awe, gobsmacked, flabbergasted and startled by these revelations that...
No, you're not. Russell, fucko, listen. You're not gobsmacked by these revelations. You're gobsmacked because your reading comprehension is totally fucked. And I think it's a good time to start an intervention on the English school system. Clearly, it's wanting.
Russiagate was a democratic conspiracy.
Bullshit. And if you don't believe me that this is a money play by Brand and that this is the way he's been going for a long time and that he's trying to be like a hippie bridge between Alex Jones and Joe Rogan because there's a sweet spot of money there and he found it and he's just fucking squeezing that zit for all the pus he can eat. The overlap, the fact that Bongino's going to use his lot. I can't fucking believe it. Oh shit, you know what? Oh fucking hell. The fact that Bongino's using this as weaponry is showing to just kind of, it's gone from covert to overt is all. And Russel Brand, I'm calling you out. You're a liar. And your lies, which you are using clearly to, stack your wood in the back, if you know what I mean, and you don't, is just fodder for the same fuckos that watch this dipshit show. There's total overlap. The reason Russel Brand is doing this is because he wants to be the zeitgeist hippie version of like the illusion, the David Koresh of the Alex Jones set.
Right, he just said it, Joe. He's like, if only more libs were like this guy. I mean, guys, ladies, you get it. You've been watching my show forever, this podcast, and many of you have been here from...
No. That's not even remotely true. I mean, you say a lot of false things on, hold on. I have cat moment. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Got to make sure, check something. Psst. What are you doing? Give me a second. Where'd you go? All right. He's fine. Drop my headphones. All right, here we're back. Now, All right, we're back. We're fine. Guys. Right. This is, okay, here we go. Continuing.
Very beginning.
Chip definitely loves to go scurry behind there. I cleaned up most of the wires he was messing with, so I heard a scritching, but he's fine.
And thank you for doing it.
He was pooping.
You've known this thing is made up. Like, it's factually incorrect. It's a false story.
No, that's a lie. What's a lie is that it's a lie. That's it. He's lying, and he's using Russel Brand to Russel Brand's apparently flabbergasted nature seeing this, all right? He's using this to shore up his, it absolutely does not. I mean, like, the idea that you can bank shot somebody else's misunderstanding and it makes you right. Like, yeah. Yes, Russel Brand is a Trumplican. Russel Brand is a maggot. Period. He sells hippie. That's the veneer. Alex Jones is a Trumplican. He's a maggot, but he sells, I don't know, sweaty, bloated dick pill version or whatever. It's just a different label on the same booze.
In reality, liberals live in the Marvel stupid verse, right?
The Marvel stupid verse. Wasn't it Trump that actually posted a picture of himself as Thanos, who was the greatest genocidal maniac in the universe? Period. And not only did he post him doing the snap, but he posted it from the second movie, from Endgame, when it didn't work. That would be the definition of the Marvel stupid verse. I think, hold on. Trump posts Thanos. Whoops, wrong one. Sorry, I'm typing in the wrong field again. It happens. Trump posts Thanos meme, something like that. Yeah, so this is right. They post, this is his re-election ad. They're really gonna run an ad on this fucking thing? Okay, hold on. See, they borrow it. They borrow Trump as Thanos. This is a Trump campaign re-election ad. I just let's be super fucking abundantly clear that this asshole just said liberals live in the Marvel stupid verse, seemingly forgetting that the Trump campaign re-election campaign tweets a video of him as Thanos, who not only snaps his fingers. This is from Endgame. The glove is dead at this point in the movie. It doesn't even work. So, like, that's kind of a beautiful, I mean, if anything was a precursor, the fact that he was going to lose, that's it. That's the side that lost. That's right. That's the one where he did that, and then it clank. It doesn't do anything. And then they go to Iron Man. He goes, I'm Iron Man. And that's the end of it. And then he dies. Like, I mean, if you're going to grab the fucking hilarious. Never mind the fact that Thanos murdered trillions of people because he didn't like, the universe was too crowded for him. And they posted this during a pandemic where, I mean, you're just going to snap your fingers and get rid of all the people that are just a waste of space? Is that how it's working? I mean, that's just fucking lunacy. It's grotesque. Even within the Marvel Universe, you guys know how I feel. Fuck Thanos. I don't like bad guys. I don't support them. And fuck the Joker. And I'm sick of Joker movies. And there's a reason we have hero movies. Okay? There's a reason we have hero movies. Because men's testosterone needs guidance or it will go down dark paths. So they need positive moral tales all the time. And here, superhero stories are largely, if this is your testosterone used for good, this is your testosterone used for bad. If you let this overwhelm things, it will destroy the world and kill people, and it's terrible and stuff. So you better get your fucking testosterone under control and use it for good. Otherwise, it's bad. That's the story. That's why we have hero stories. It's not because people like to dress up. It's not, and that's why heroes are muscular, because they represent the total expression of testosterone. This isn't an accident that these stories have naturally turned into those things. So just get used to the idea. I'm right. Just understand this. But he just said Marvel stupid verse, and this dickhead posted a picture of himself as a genocidal psychopath who murdered half the universe, which I guess, just rolling the dice, included, let's say, a lot of unborn babies. How about that? A lot of unborn babies. Oh, the keyboard, right. I forgot. Sorry, I moved it. I was working earlier, and then I move it over here, and then shuffle it over here, and then I'll put it back where it was before when I was working. Okay, thank you. So, just for the record, if anybody's in the Marvel stupid verse, and I would include that, of course, the psychoverse, it's Trump. This is fucking gross. And they chose this shot where he lost. So, and I guarantee Bongino saw both movies, wouldn't notice, and wouldn't care. Not only would he not notice that that was the losing snap, he would also not care that Trump portrayed himself as the worst expression of the Hitlerian impulse ever.
Imagine what it must feel like to have believed for so long that Trump colluded with Vladimir Putin.
The campaign did, through Manafort and others. That's still true.
Election, and then find out the whole entire thing is not only false, but made up by the same people you thought.
Yeah, no one found that out, asshole. They're talking about the Durham indictment that's fucking 25 pages long. It's nonsense. It doesn't prove it literally doesn't prove what they say it does. And they're trying so desperately. Durham is just basically giving them refrigerator magnets to put up. None of it holds water. The Sussman isn't going to get charged. He isn't. And yes, he's disrespecting the flag. With this fucking patchwork spray paint, low-end Banksy t-shirt thing that he sells on his website, I'm sure. So he's got one in different color for all the time. It's silly. Do you know how hard it is for me to wear my own merch? I probably should more often. It's cool stuff. But I always find it a little weird. Little backstory. There was a band called Kingdom Come. Some of you may remember them. We used to call them Kingdom Clone because they were like a German band that wanted to sound exactly like Led Zeppelin. And their first record absolutely did. 2 hits, Get It On. And What Love Can Be, I think was the ballad. Come to me now. I want to be your best friend for all of time. That kind of thing, right? Okay, so we used to call them Kingdom Clone. And I would see, for whatever reason, they're a German band, but they I guess they relocated to LA to be near the Strip and all that kind of stuff. And the lead singer, Lenny, beg your pardon. Lemmy's from Motorhead. Lenny used to come in to Jerry's Deli all the time while I was eating there with my buddy Chris or some other friends. Remember, you guys know Chris Bono? And I'd be eating there, and here come the lead singer of Kingdom Come, and the way that you knew that was him was because he was always wearing a Kingdom Come t-shirt. Always. I was always wearing merch. He always wore his own merch, and it always struck us as very, very funny. I take back some of the things I said about them. The music is fun. I shouldn't have shit on them. I did it way harder than I should have, but I know. But he would walk in there all the time, right? It's a little much, right? But at the same time, I was like, all right, you're trying to sell your band. It's whatever. You're doing your thing. It's cheesy. But, now I don't mind as much as I did back then. But as an early 20-something, I was like, oh, dude. Right? So, needless to say, it's difficult. I had that line because I think that's so strong in my mind. And this asshole's always wearing the same shit. So this weird spray painted, like some soldiers spray painted it on a tank, and it wasn't really a tank. It was my chest.
Heroes. You thought they were the protagonists and they're the antagonists. Really, try for a moment
to understand that you are deriving all of that from assertions in the Durham indictment that have already been debunked. We dealt with this when the Durham, talking about the Durham thing, I think Wednesday and then the afternoon. It's just, fuck, man. That Trump is no Thanos. Thanos is brave. No, Thanos was not brave. Thanos was a psychopath. They have a lot in common. Thanos was not brave. There was no bravery in Thanos. He was born a demigod. He had no fear of death. His girlfriend was death. If you read the comic books, he originally killed half the universe just to impress Hela, the god of death. It was just, guys will do crazy stuff to impress ladies. Like murder half the universe. Fuck Thanos. He didn't wipe out his whole family line throughout history with one snap, right? Could have done that, right? Right? He could have doubled the size of the universe with a snap so that there was plenty of room. Did he do that? No, fuck him. Anyway, so yes, Kingdom Come was in Monsters of Rock, and I did see them on that tour. So there we go. All right, so we continue, but look how he's trying to take Russel Brand's reaction to making the same mistake he makes, that having as bad reading comprehension as he has.
To put yourself in their shoes. You let's say, you've been a Ronald Reagan fan your entire life, like I was. I loved Reagan.
Yeah, totally. Until Trump came along, and then fuck that guy. Honestly, what have you done for me lately?
And then you find out some historian uncovers the fact that Ronald Reagan was like a secret Iranian terrorist. You would be devastated, would you not?
Yeah, this is a perfect analogy. If you secretly found out that Ronald Reagan was a secret Iranian terrorist, this is now becoming a regular thing on the show.
My fellow Americans,
Hi.
I've said on several occasions that I wouldn't comment about the recent congressional hearings on the IranContra matter until the hearings were over. Well, that time has come, so tonight I want to talk about some of the lessons we've learned.
Oh, we.
Assured, that's not my sole subject this evening. I also want to talk about the future and getting on with things because the people's business is waiting. These past
Sorry. Who was hanging up the people's business? Oh, right. You with the whole trading guns and arms for hostages and therefore also creating a slush fund of drugs and money through South America with, death squads.
Months have been confused.
Well, gentlemen, I'd love to create a network of cocaine and hit squads killing innocent indigenous people all throughout South America. And of course, I'd love to give weapons to the Iranians in exchange to get back the hostages, even though there's 10 or 12 different ways we could do it. But the people's business awaits, said Reagan never.
And painful ones for the country. I know you have doubts in your own minds about what happened in this whole episode. What I hope is...
No, we have doubts about what you said.
However, is my commitment to the investigations themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we've had 4 investigations by the Justice Department, the Tower Board, the Independent Counsel, and the Congress. I requested 3 of those investigations.
By friends of mine. Those were the best ones, and those are the ones I will cite now.
And I endorsed and cooperated fully with the 4th, the
which I had no choice but to do.
Hearings. supplying over 250,000 pages of White House documents.
Blah, blah, fucking blah.
The original initiative rapidly got all tangled up in the sale of arms, and the sale of arms got tangled up with hostages. Secretary Shultz and Secretary Weinberger both predicted that the American people would immediately assume this whole plan was an arms for hostages deal and nothing more. Well, unfortunately, their predictions were right.
Uh-huh. He predicted the American people would go, wait a fucking second. This sounds exactly like what it sounds like. Once I've heard the details, I'm able to figure out, can you imagine finding out that Ronald Reagan was a secret Iranian terrorist? Who wants to tell him? I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to call him a secret Iranian terrorist, but for fuck's sake, man, grab something else. That is fucking goofy. First of all, Bongino's, you got to give him credit. He's batting dumb. He's at 2 for 2. I hope he can go for 3 for 3. Guys, imagine finding out that like someone like Don Jr., who's like the son of the president, is a total coke hound with bad judgment. Right. See, we live in the liberals live in the Marvel stupid verse. And what if you found out that Reagan was a secret Iranian terrorist? Okay.
Of course he wasn't. You get my point. I'm trying to put you.
Well, of course he wasn't. I mean, just funded them. A lot of them. And a lot of death squads in South America. But yeah. And then but Hunter's laptop. Please tell us, please divert.
The mindset of what it must be like to live like a liberal, where you believe COVID caused the crime crisis, not liberals. I mean, you believe.
I'm sorry, COVID caused the crime crisis? Is that what we believe? Is it, guys? I gotta admit, I have not been at a couple of the liberal meetings, but have we all settled on COVID? It's like a mild form of the 28 days later zombie attack. Like if you get COVID, you're gonna murder people. Is that what we're saying? Yes, it's the crime virus. Sorry, instead of liberals?
Liberal, where you believe COVID caused the crime crisis, not liberals.
Liberals caused the crime crisis. The crime crisis. Okay, I'm guessing, let's see. Murder rate, rural America, 2020. See if they have this. Hold on one second. I'm gonna see if there is there. Now I don't remember. When is this? Okay, Monday, 27th, 2020. Okay. U.S. records largest annual increase in murders in 6 decades. 30% rise in crime. Let's see. Was it caused by COVID? 5,000 COVID. No. Sorry. Murder increase geographical in every geographical region. And in small towns and suburban areas, as well as large cities, at least 77% of murders were committed with firearms. Oh, it was firearms. I thought it was COVID. I thought he was counting like all the unvaccinated people who intentionally coughed COVID on people and killed them as the rise in murder rate. I was mistaken. I know. It turns out it's something that it's all those new liberal gun owners. 77% of liberals who suddenly went out and bought a gun and shot somebody because they don't know how it works. I want a gun, but they have a tie-dye gun, and
you believe things like masks are they're so effective. The tool is, and research says that. I'll get to that later.
No, he won't. Masks are effective. He's talking out of his ass. He didn't get to it later. He doesn't get to it later. Or if he does, he cites like one of these doctors that goes on Fox that talks about how it upsets people.
You believe Trump colluded with Russia, and you find out one day you wake up and you're like, my gosh, it was all a lie. I was like,
Yes, that's what our reaction is. We're all Russel Brand.
it was all fake and false the whole time.
Prove it. I mean, it's a 2-minute clip. He didn't put up a lot of it. But you have a copy. He's got a copy of the Durham report. So does Russel Brand. I'm sure Russel Brand actually posted more of it than he did. But even then, it's a single indictment. And it in no way says that the Alpha Bank connection to the Trump campaign was false or there was any misleading going on whatsoever. None of it refutes the evidence. They are intending to say that the people who brought the evidence can't be trusted, and therefore the evidence can't be trusted, with no pushback on the evidence itself. There is no rebuttal on the evidence against about the connection between the Alpha Bank server and the Trump organization server, which is what this is primarily about, not the rest of it, not the Christopher Steele dossier, none of that shit. It's totally unrelated to the Sussman indictment. But in the Sussman indictment, it does not push back on the evidence at all. It simply tries to get Sussman in trouble for allegedly telling or refusing to tell or lying to a FBI agent when he was supposed to tell, none of which are true, that he said he didn't work for the Clinton campaign. That's it. That is the entirety of the charge. The rest of it is to claim that the people who gave him the information that he passed on to the FBI didn't believe the information was rose to the level of criminality, was worth looking into, which is also a lie. It's not even hard. This is not even difficult. But we did get a dumb twofer right out of the now. We've got the heavy hitters coming up. Remember how I said the absolute bottom is when you called into Flashpoint? When a politician ends up on Flashpoint, that's where nobody else is returning their phone calls. We're there. We have absolutely. I've many times, like we've said this about a bunch of people. When if I can, Jim Jordan, I think went on there. A couple other people. Like it's bottom basement nonsense, right? This is the bottom, and it took him long enough. But all they had to do was just keep kissing his ass, and he showed up. It's not very long, of course, but it's too long, but it's very short. Watch it. But first, Mike Lindell. We have another episode of Steve Bannon milking Mike Lindell for ad rev cash while he laughs in his fucking face. This is now the center point. It's like on a radio show when they go like, we're going to bring on somebody from Tompkins Tires to talk about their local tire company or whatever. Why don't you come on and tell us about your tires? And they go, yeah, we got a special this week. Radio shows do it all the time with local advertisers, but they don't have they don't pick the song playlist and they don't tell you what to think, right? He needs an intervectin, right? By the way, don't forget to give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to the show. Spread it around. Hal Sparks Megaworldwide is on every weekday at 3 o'clock, except Thursday when we're on at 4. And then, of course, the radio show is tomorrow, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on, of course, WCPT radio, as well as live streaming here. Now, let's continue. I'm quite curious. The title of this one is Mike Lindell drops massive dookie. No, Mike Lindell drops was dropped on his head massively as a child. No, Mike Lindell drops massive class action lawsuit. That's where, okay, so and apparently right out of the gate on the freeze frame, Mike doesn't feel welcome and Bannon looks dubious.
But we have big breaking news when we're bringing in Mike Lindell.
Huge, big, giant breaking news. Big, flabby, waggy, pus-filled.
Who has dedicated kind of his life to get to the bottom of 3 November and taken many incomings. We're going to get back to this whole thing in a second.
Yeah, taking many incomings. Yeah. He's like a fucking Spartan shield against tangerines. 666 people in the chat. It's time for 666 super chat. If you want to give to the show, this is a good time to do it. $6.66 to support the show through the super chats. Of course, bits and subscriptions are always welcome and appreciated. And thank you for the stars on Facebook, you guys. And away we go.
We're not getting off the debt. We're not getting off the CR. We're not getting off this infrastructure vote. Mike, as you know, we got a firestorm up here because here's why, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy, here it comes. This is it. This is it.
Elections have consequences.
That's true. Yes. But Joe Biden is the president. And I'm glad you mentioned that. It's going to upset him, though, because you're going to have to admit that Biden's the president right now. Elections have consequences. And he's trying to get people back to the polls for the Republicans. And he's like, why do we even?
Stolen elections have catastrophic consequences. And
nice save, asshole.
We're in the middle of a catastrophe. Don't ask Steve Bannon. Don't ask the War Room. Don't ask the War Room posse. Just look at the numbers on the polling. I see guys in the, don't polling doesn't count. Stop. If you know how to get in back of the polling, look at the statistics.
Yeah, get up under. You know if you know how to like reach up under Trump's polling and kind of, I'm grossing myself out.
This means a lot. I understand that people.
Here's a good idea. Reach up under a loofah and rub it on your fucking face, man. Reach up under a soap dispenser. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Mark.
For Trump, don't respond to polls. But these ain't people that support Trump. Note to live chat. Please follow along or take a number 2 pencil out and write it down.
Yeah, take a number 2 pencil out. I don't know if I have a number 2 pencil. Where am I going to find one of those at this hour?
Pencil out and write it down.
Pencil.
Mike Lyndell.
Hold on. Pencil. Is that like a folksel, but with lead in it?
Live chat. Please follow along or take a number 2 pencil out and write it down.
Yeah, take it out. How do you get it out, though? I've never known, does it require like a shoehorn? How do you get a number 2 pencil out?
Moon River. Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
It's just a number 2 pencil.
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
All right.
Oh, you're dropping another bomb today.
He is definitely, yeah. Okay, here. There we go. He dropped me the bomb.
What's going on here? You're class
yeah. Let me interrupt you right now. Let me start talking because I'm already talking.
Yep. Yeah, Steve, it all goes back.
I think Mike Lyndell is half guppy. Because when he's not talking, he's like...
November 3rd. It all goes back to November 3rd. Everything you see happen around you, that's the consequences. And
you mean when Biden was elected legally and Trump lost his job? Failed again? It's Fox's fault. Fox did it. If Fox hadn't called Arizona for him, Arizona would have never been certified. Well, I mean, the votes would have still been there, but it was just because Fox said it. And then everybody started saying it. And then they had to count the votes. And then we recount the votes again and again and again. And what happened? Biden got more votes. Why?
Go
back. Look on your calendar.
Steve, it's going to be dropped here shortly, but
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
It's going to be dropped here shortly. Yeah, I'm waiting with bated breath.
What I can do on that bit of news is
it was, dude, don't make news on me. I was just mentioning that off the cuff. That was bullshit, Joel.
I could come on your show tomorrow morning right at 10.
It's all innuendos today. That's all it is. That's all. Yeah, I don't really have it right now, but I could come on your show. Sorry.
Right when they're dropping it.
Shit. I can't. This is filth.
Because he said it's not come out yet, right? It's,
Don't ask me for shit that hasn't happened yet. I'm too busy lying about shit that's already happened and didn't turn out the way I wanted. I'm exhausted from lying about shit that everybody knows about. Now I gotta lie about shit that nobody's heard of yet and that I don't understand.
we're giving the War Room an exclusive on this. And,
Spit it out.
so I'm not sure where we're positioned this right now.
This is great. This is the kind of breaking news I've been waiting for. This is exciting. My nipples are hard. I don't know how to even react. I could cut my way out of a submarine just by going pink. I don't.
As it's being dropped as we speak, I believe. So
Jesus Christ. Get on with it. What's dropping? Steve Bannon soap? Spit it out, you fucker. I just love that, they're in such desperate need for good news that Steve Bannon is making shit up for Mike Lyndell to say, and then he's like, what do we have that I haven't said yet 100 times?
Whoa. Hang on. Whoa, hang on.
What do you mean, hang on? Asshole, he hasn't had a chance to say anything yet.
Being dropped, and where is it being dropped? And then we can talk about
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
What's being dropped? He's got, I don't know if you know this, Mike Lindell's got a new rap single. He's going to drop a new joint, dropping at midnight, yo. He could be out on the corner with the cassettes. You like rap music? You like rap music?
We love exclusives. We don't want to get ahead of the train. Is this a class action lawsuit?
The lawyer just said I can't talk about it.
They posted this clip. They did. I didn't find this. I didn't, CSL and I didn't, go cut this out of the fucking show. They posted this. This will do it. How do we really? Sorry. So, have the editors just turned on the right wing? Have the weird little unpaid interns they have? Oh, it's so fun.
Now until it's actually in the hands of
you're Mike Lindell, so obviously you're going to talk about it. We had Matt Gaetz go full Rudy.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz go full Rudy. Oh, you have video of him in a room with a 15-year-old girl? You mean that kind of full Rudy? Hand down the front of his fucking pants, touching her hip and her ass? Good times.
Full Rudy on us this morning, and poor Don Lemon, right? Had Gaetz was playing Rudy. So you're Mike Lindell. Mike, there's been nothing to constrain you so far. Why will we start?
Yeah, well, you've been lying this whole time. Why would you not just keep lying? Dude, the grease on these axles are lies.
Oh.
Right. And I don't have it in front of me, but it's this.
Don't let that stop you. Just say it. Just make up a number. I mean, honestly.
Class action lawsuit. It's the people that were threatened by Dominion. Everybody was threatened. There's hundreds of people that were threatened, that were given threatening letters.
Hold on. Hang on a second. Whoa. When you say threatened, what do you mean? They were sent letters that put them on...
No, they told them they're going to kill their dog with it. No, that was Roger Stone to the witness that he tampered with. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Threatening letters, which basically it was a warning to stop libeling the company, which is what you do on the path to legal action. This goes into the zone of... I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. There we go. Oh, mercy. All right. This goes into the thing we did with misdemeanors when we were talking about misdemeanors yesterday, and there's like, you can have like trespassing as a misdemeanor in regard to the January 6th folks, and part of that is that you have to let people know they're trespassing. Right? Thank you. Thanks for the blessings, guys. So right, you have to warn people, have to know they're trespassing. They either have to see a sign or you have to tell them you're on private land, please leave. Right? That's how it works. So in these cases, what they do is they send you a letter. You're trespassing, basically. You are lying and you are slandering our company, and we're telling you we take that seriously and we will seek legal action if you keep it up. We're not going to do it right now because we're now warning you. Right? That's how the law works. So he wants to sue them for the required step in legally filing a libel or slander lawsuit against someone.
When you say threaten, let's be specific. I would say Dominion didn't send leg breakers to their home. But what actually happened? Technically, they got letters sent from Dominion's lawyers to warn them about.
Yeah,
to say, hey, you can't do this.
To say, hey, stop lying about the company.
You have been warned. You have been warned. I got one myself way back when. I got one back.
Yeah, and then what happened? You didn't listen to the warning, and you got sued. For real. They warned you first. You decided to ignore the warning. That's how you ended up with rock salt in your backside. Don't ask me how I know that happens. I did grow up in the South.
Nah, but I can't be part of the class action because we have 2 lawsuits going. These are
because the people who were warned followed the warning, didn't get sued.
That were
it's exactly right, Lulu girl. It's a cease and desist.
I guess that's the best way to say it. It's kind of like when you're threatened, you get a letter. You do not talk. You do not. If you say one more thing about this, we are cutting you off. And
no, they're going. If you keep lying about me and endangering our livelihood with your lies, we will sue you for lying. Why does he actually? His lawyers can't actually think this works. I mean, it's a standard countersuit, but is he going to? Oh my God! Have all the other people that bought Mike Lindell's bullshit that got warning letters, have they figured out a way to get Mike Lindell to finance a lawsuit for them? Holy shit!
Or not cutting you off. I guess I don't know what the word would be. Threatened of
sued. You would be sued like you were sued. What happened? Here you go, dum-dum. Think about what happened to you after you ignored the letter, and that's probably what would happen if you ignored the letter. You got to get to the war room. They can break some news, and if they break the news, it stays broken.
Lawfare, basically, they're threatened with, threatened with lawfare. They put fear into them.
Threatened with lawfare. It like warfare with law. Blah, blah. So I see. So anybody who is having their entire livelihood destroyed by someone lying about them, that person just has to take it, because responding to it in the standard legal ways of dealing with it is warfare using legal means.
One I got from them way back in December, I believe it said, and I can tomorrow at 9 or tomorrow at 10, I guess I can come on. I can show you the actual one that I got back.
Yeah. I would believe me, if I was threatened with a $1.8 billion lawsuit, I'd have that fucker memorized.
The day, and that said, this before we all went lawsuits back and forth.
No offense, it really slowed you down. It couldn't have been that threatening. I'm just making an observation. It couldn't have been that threatening because Mike Lindell just ran through the tape.
Or he could be a foolhardy idiot that you are milking for ad rev until he collapses. And you don't give a shit what's going to happen to him. And he's got let's just say, special synaptic firings in his brain.
Well, and I just got wind. It will be dropped tomorrow morning. We'll do it right before your show, but I will tell part of this, you guys. So for the details we're going to put on the show tomorrow, we're going to open it up, right? We'll drop it at 10:05 tomorrow, Steve.
So what? File whatever the fuck you want. Again, this is not news. Like these assholes are. And speaking of, like he was just saying, lawfare, right? This is lawfare. This is weaponizing the legal system. That's all they've been doing since November 3rd. Is weaponizing the legal system when they actually lost. Right? There's been no there. They're just wasting, their money, taxpayer money, and whatever. Like, it's asshole country.
10 o'clock sharp Eastern time. But anyway,
it's only news if you win. Or if the judge gives you something. Filing something, go fuck yourself. That's not breaking news. Breaking news was a day went by where Mike Lyndell didn't piss some money away on another harebrained scheme.
Hang on for a second. Yeah, go ahead.
With the letter you're talking about that came to me, I actually read this letter, and I'll bring it on with me tomorrow. It says, it wasn't like from a lawyer, like, do this or we're going to sue you. It was more like, you do this. It was like getting a letter from the old mafia days when I used to bet football and they'd come to break my leg. You better not talk anymore or else. I'm going, woo.
Yeah, that's what it said. Wasn't on letterhead. Signed Dominion. It was stuck in an oak barrel with a knife. Get the fuck.
It's really scary, and this is what they did to so many people in our country.
What they've done. They have done what they've done. What they did or what they have done. You're a grown man, speak English.
These are citizens, volunteers, people that were out there. One guy's an uncle. We'll have details tomorrow. An uncle. He was just related to a person that was a poll watcher or a...
Yeah, so he's related to a poll watcher, and he's joined your lawsuit because he got caught lying about Dominion because he was following your lies, and they told him not to do it anymore, and now you're going to pay for him to sue. What the fuck?
Or someone that had been doing work during the November 3rd election. These people have lived in fear, Steve. They've lived in...
Why? Fear of what? Accidentally slandering someone?
They're watching our country go down the tubes, and they've got, they had all this information that just got, you better not talk. You better not talk. So
they didn't have any information. They could file it in court. No one stopped any of these assholes from signing an affidavit or any of that shit. I mean, he's, like, God knows how many people he's fucking talking about. And the idea that it's a class action lawsuit because they were going to lose their accounts on fucking Facebook because they were lying about this shit. With their stupid ghost accounts. But none of them have a free speech issue. Free speech does not cover slander and libel. It just doesn't. And if you're going to do that, you better have enough evidence to defend yourself against a $1.8 billion lawsuit in this case. I doubt those folks were threatened with the $1 billion lawsuits. Probably smaller on an individual. But that's assuming that this is true at all.
Thing that we're getting really...
Okay, hang on. We're gonna go short commercial break, Mike. Just hang with us. Short commercial break.
Just sell some pillows.
Mike Lyndell. Major news coming out of class action suit. It's going to drop tomorrow morning. He's giving a preview of it. Take a short break. Be back with Lyndell in a moment.
God, what a fucking fart in a paper bag. You're listening to Warrant right now? Excellent. This 1,500 rumbles, that's money. 15,000 views on Steve Bannon's War Room. And the story, Mike Lyndell drops massive class action lawsuit. No, he doesn't. He says he's going to tomorrow, and he's not even a part of it because he can't be. Again, be very excited, folks. Be very happy. Because this is what they are down to. And speaking of being completely down to something else, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the absolute barrel scraping interview so far of Donald J. Trump. Now, remember, there are times when presidents talk to like vloggers and little small outlets and stuff as part of like press gaggles, and it's cute, right? Because they're really, really small. And then there's like pathetic, please bail me out, small, nutty cul-de-sacs in the internet, which Flashpoint is definitely one of. And they have been wanting this for a long time. And I mean, both of these guys get their hair dyed at the same shop. I'm very excited. Let's see. Oh, and then we got to do whatever. Okay, here we go. Oh, Jesus. They're really using that? Oh, yeah? You got a red phone on your desk? Top this, motherfucker. Yeah. If Joe Biden calls using a landline, this is it, kiddo. There you go. All right. Really, this is so fucking stilted. Look at this bullshit. This is embarrassing. What's he going to do? Put it on a feed? Is he going to hold it up to his goddamn ear the whole time? Or just set it on the desk on a little microphone?
President of the United States.
They just cut the bit from the clip. They just cut it. Did he have a little hello? Jesus.
Number 45, President Donald Trump. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on Flashpoint.
Well, thank you very much, Pastor. Great honor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. All right, just a few questions. I know you've got just a little bit of time. This may seem
that's their way of making sure they can get rid of him.
Obvious to most people, but they need to know, why are so many in the mainstream media refusing to cover this election audit? And now more states are auditing the election results. What are your thoughts?
Aren't covering it. They are covering it. It's hilarious.
Because the media is corrupt, Pastor. You
That's
know it
why.
as well as I do, and many people know it. Probably
Everybody knew it. You know it. I know it. Dogs know it. Everybody knows it except the rest of the world. Everybody knows it except the voters and the citizens of this great country. No one knows it who matters. Only you know it, and I know it, and neither of us have any power. My penis just turtled again.
to know it best is the media itself. They are corrupt.
Yes, they more than anybody. They know. Oh, I'm corrupt. I can't stop typing. My little corrupt fingers. Shit.
They don't tell the truth, and they are, in fact, the enemy of the people, and it's a terrible thing. We had a tremendous audit. It was done by the Senate, the Arizona Senate. And
no, it wasn't. It was authorized by the Arizona Senate, and it was done by cyber nincompoops.
People, and the findings were unbelievable. I mean, far.
Well, unbelievable to you because you ended up with fewer votes.
More than the votes we needed. We had a, deficit, which was a fake deficit, of about a little more than 10,000 votes.
And after we heard their review, we know that if we accumulate all the fraudulent votes, you lose 70,000 more votes minimum. So you're now behind by 86,000 votes. Congratulations for losing that many votes. Because every fraudulent vote they find, dead voter, people who voted out of the state, people who voted from space, anybody who ghost votes, haunted votes, votes that floated in and voted themselves. Yes, I'm just drinking a giant glass of water in front of him with one hand just to be a dick. All the people who voted illegally in this election, all 17 of them, all Trump voters. So every other one you might find or you believe exists also voted for Trump. Prove me wrong.
They found tens of thousands of votes
that were for you and that have to be disqualified. I'm sorry. You lost by 112,000 votes.
Different categories, and it was a disgrace. So the media doesn't want to call it. I think they called it findings at the end. Findings.
Yes. When you find something, you usually call it findings.
The findings were just brutal, and yet the media
Yes, they were brutal. You lost again by more.
doesn't want to report the findings. It's really a very sad thing for our country.
It is. And
Sorry, which country are you talking about? Trumpistan?
have lost respect for the media, and we're turning that
I'm sorry, when did you have respect for the media? Flashpoint? And by the way, this is Gene the Jesus Machine. If you're not familiar with the regulars on Flashpoint, I'm hoping that Lanny Walnuts is around to ask a question, but I don't think so. I think Gene stole this interview for himself. It would be lovely if Mario Scario shows up later on and reports from the middle of the street in San Francisco, which he insists on coming from, even though he hates the gays. And hold on. I'm going to have to... I know it's in here somewhere.
You know the expression? You know the expression? They come after us from every angle. They're after us. And we're here, and they're not.
Yes, you're here on Flashpoint.
But I find it very interesting. I've watched you in your rallies post 2020. What does it say? You're still able to draw such huge numbers in places like Coleman, Alabama, and Perry, Georgia.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. Those normal, such liberal enclaves as Coleman, Alabama, and Perry, Georgia. I mean, it's like you hosted the Pride Parade in San Francisco. How did you manage to pull such a giant crowd in Juarez, Mexico? Fuck, because it's free, the people are bored, and it's the same fuckers at every event. They drive to all these things.
Other elected official in history has ever come close to that. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's a great honor. They like what I'm saying. Probably that
whether it's true or not.
I'm extremely handsome, but I'm only kidding. But
we know. We know.
Like what I'm saying, and frankly, we had 68,000 people, as you know, a few weeks ago in Alabama, 38,000 in Georgia just this past weekend, and that's with Georgia playing a football game that day.
That's right.
And winning for...
Yeah, and then the people came over earlier.
2-0, so that was, nice. It was a good feeling in that big arena. So I would just say that they like what I'm saying. They want somebody to say it. They don't hear it much, as you know. You hear these politicians talk, and they don't want to talk about anything, and that's why our country is going so far radical left. And, some people say socialist and some people say communist. I mean, it's terrible. Part of the thing with the media is, and as you know, what happens to countries is when you lose your voice, when they don't say what's going on, that's the first step toward communism.
I see. The first step towards communism is when you don't see what's going on because you lose your voice and you're not able to say stuff. Says a guy calling in to a live streaming religious broadcast that pays no taxes and has never been kicked off of YouTube, even though that they have pushed the big lie and anti-vax shit left and right. They somehow always dodge any comeuppance. But please go on about your voice has been taken away.
Terrible, terrible thing that's happening in our country. What they don't talk about, they do talk about, and maybe even worse, what they don't talk about.
Yeah, and what they often talk about, and sometimes what they don't often talk about. And other things that they kind of mention, but other things they forgot to say when they were in the middle of it. And the worst is things they wish they'd said in the moment. And later on at night, they're kicking themselves because if I'd have told him that at the time.
Terrible.
It is. Let's go to a little bit more current this week.
Yeah. But, I mean, enough of the past. Let's talk about something that you can turn into a conversation about the past.
He testified in Congress and defended his decision to call the Chinese undermining you as commander-in-chief, and he defended his decision to keep Pelosi in the loop. What's your reaction to all of that?
Well, he's a strongly left-leaning person. He's been there.
You know those generals who argue to keep us in Afghanistan forever. They're so strongly left leaning.
A long time in the military, but very.
You mean career military, dedicated? Okay.
Very left, a Democrat, and frankly, he's weak.
I have a question real quick. I know you had bone spurs in both feet, I'm presuming. Did you have more in the left or the right? Did you have more bone spurs on your right, so you accidentally leaned left? Or did you have more bone spurs in your left foot that caused you to lean right? And that's how you ended up the Republican president.
And he's been weak for a long time, and I realized that during the course. When I walked down to the church, and Gene, I'm sure you liked it, and a lot of people...
Yeah, loved it. Yeah, absolutely. Going to a church you don't go to, holding a book you never read. Nothing. Gene likes nothing more than performative Christianity. Just fake it till you make it for Jesus.
Most people liked it, but
most people liked it. Except Jesus, which is weird. Hal, you're ordained. You can probably trick King Dipshit into calling you. That's true. I am. I actually am ordained. I can, if you want me to perform your wedding, just write me an email.
Left didn't like it, and they started really hitting him. And rather than saying, I'm proud to walk with my president or the office of the president, if you want.
I didn't, were you going to bring the whole office? I'm not, is the Oval Office on wheels? Oh, I guess you can turn it on its side and roll it.
He was apologizing all over the place. And then very interesting.
Well, not all over the place, obviously, just once on camera. But it gets everywhere, kind of like Hal Sparks' Megaworldwide.
You know, he spoke to all of these authors, but then he said, no, he can't talk about anything. And said, well, he spoke to all of the authors of the book. So he's turned out to be weak. And when you look at what he did in Afghanistan, I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
We're back to embarrassing. This is the talking point Trump really needs people to think, that this is embarrassing. Because that's the worst thing Trump can imagine, is being embarrassed. He has no shame, but he's easily embarrassed. He's icked out by gross things. He can't admit when he's sick or not feeling well or down or any of the stuff because it shows weakness and he'd fall apart. And people would take that as a chance to, like, I guess, gorilla him out of the way, right? So embarrassing is the worst thing that can happen to somebody, according to Trump. And just for the record, his loss last year was embarrassing.
$85 billion behind of the best equipment in the world, Apache.
Not even true.
Copters and everything. And obviously our 12 warriors, incredible warriors killed.
How many?
Behind of the best equipment in the world, Apache helicopters and everything. And obviously our 12 warriors, incredible warriors killed.
13. I don't know why all of a sudden it's 12. None of them magically came back to life. What the fuck is that? Yeah, it's the 1918 thing again? Fucking hell. It's 12 all of a sudden? It's 12. By the way, if this was Biden, this would be a talking point on the right-wing media about, from Tucker and Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity would do a whole fucking segment on Joe Biden saying 12 were killed and not 13. They would pick one of each, whoever it was. They'd pick someone and then just put their picture up and say, Joe Biden doesn't believe this person really died or doesn't care. Right? This would absolutely be a permanent talking point. One was a Democrat, right?
Many injured. We don't talk about that. Nobody talks about that, but many injured and other people killed. Could be as many as 250 people killed.
Yeah, just make up a number. While you're pretending one of the soldiers didn't die, why not just pad the numbers of the injured and killed Afghans? I mean, did you take math from Mike Lyndell?
Because we took the military out before.
Right.
We asked the Americans. I mean, we have Americans.
We took the military out before we asked the Americans? Okay. All right. Does anyone... Gene, Ask if anybody around him has some smelling salts, or I think it's too late for a tourniquet, and it really doesn't work on the head if it's a head wound. Is there any? Just check. Is there spurting coming out of the front of his head?
That are actually being held captive over there. It is a
No, they aren't. No, they are not. How many? Wait.
many injured. We don't talk about that. Nobody talks about that, but many injured and other people killed. Could be as many as 250 people killed. This was all because we took the military out before.
Right.
We asked the Americans. I mean, we have Americans that are actually being held captive over there. It is.
No, we do not. No, none of them are being held captive. None. There are people who don't have paperwork so they can leave. They're not being allowed to go because they don't have the paperwork to leave for either part of their family. And they're not willing to leave without their family, so they're trying to arrange for that, arrange for another way to get out of the country, and then negotiate to get that paperwork taken care of once they're in Uzbekistan or Pakistan or Iran or some shit like that. But there are no. This is not. They want this so bad to be IranContra all over again. They're like, oh, if we could only Carter this thing, right? This is what they're begging for. This is desperately what they need to be true.
A disgrace what the military did. They shamed us. They surrendered and they shamed us.
What the fuck? You set the date. They surrendered and they shamed us? Think about that. And again, this goes to the thing. If Biden said our military surrendered, not our generals, but our military, our soldiers on the ground. Trump said it so much I think it was in the interview or in the rally. It all fucking rolls together. But basically saying they ran from guys with knives. They dropped their guns. They surrendered or they fled from guys with knives, our soldiers. That's the story. Instead of, they followed orders, they did their job with honor, they destroyed the equipment that was there or removed it, and they left whatever gear they were supposed to leave for the Afghan military to use, and the Afghan military fell after we left, but that was up to them, not up to us, and our people served honorably and did exactly what they were ordered to do. According to Trump, they fled and surrendered, and they're weak and stupid. This is fucked up.
That's so true. And I know
No, it is not, Gene, the Jesus machine. It's not true. And you know what is true? Thou shalt not bear false witness. Do you give a rat fuck at all, Gene? About what you are a pastor. And this man just slandered U.S. soldiers, not military decisions, not military industrial complex, not if up at the top of the food chain in the military that they were making orders that the other guys had to follow. He did not. He's shitting on the soldiers, the people on the ground, pilots, drivers, mechanics. He's actively on Flashpoint shitting on those people. Thou shalt not lie is actually thou shalt not bear false witness. Lying is not a direct sin in that regard. It's not in the Ten Commandments anyways. Depends on which 10 Commandments. There's 2 sets of 10 Commandments. That's a conversation for another time.
They're not letting this go, sir. They're upset about it.
Who? What are they? You know what they're not upset about, Gene? Him shitting on the military. Shitting on military service people specifically.
I don't think they will.
Guys, this probably, and maybe it's because my grandfather served in World War II. My cousin was, is a Marine, and he became a U.S. Marshal. People have to follow orders they don't particularly like a lot of times, or get put in a situation where they wish they could do more, or they think they have a better idea about how this could have served. I have friends who served. A lot of my Masonic brothers are military vets, and these people do the best they fucking can in terrible situations. And Trump is basically waiting for the soldiers to come home from Vietnam so he can spit in their fucking face. I don't know why there is nothing on the right wing. Dan Bongino's not coming to the defense of our military. Don Jr. isn't. Glenn Beck's not. Glenn Beck isn't having a segment on, fuck, every time Trump's on, he shits on the military. He says they surrendered and ran and fled and... Oh, nice, Aubrey. Right? Have you seen a right-winger go, I think it's a little fucked up that every time Trump's on now, he shits on the military service people. Like, it's one thing to criticize the civilian leadership and the military leaders that make the decisions and think that the decisions should have been handled differently, or somebody who, a military service person who actively commits a crime, both in or out of service, like Timothy McVeigh, or anybody who goes rogue and, shoots a bunch of civilians, that kind of shit. Like, that's reasonable. But to just make up some random bullshit about the soldiers who were set a deadline to leave an area, he made an agreement with the Taliban that the Taliban would not fire on them as long as they left by May 1st. And so they started the work of getting the fuck out, because we're not going to stay there forever to hold up this government. Right? We're not making Afghanistan the 51st state. So at some point they have to stand on their own. And these military service people were told, this is the date, get your shit together, we're going to go. And they closed all the lights, they took all the gear, or they burned the gear that they weren't going to take with them, or they demilitarized it, or wrecked it, or whatever. Did what they were told to do. What they were ordered to do, and what was honorable in the position they were in. And they leave, and this motherfucker is running all over the place telling everybody that those soldiers who turned off the lights at Bagram Air Force Base, demilitarized attack helicopters and rocket systems and shit like that, took a bunch of gear that we were going to take with us, destroyed the rest of it. The only stuff they left was stuff the Afghan military was supposed to use for themselves. And those people who served honorably and protected their fellow service people who served in the military in a way that, sorry, I had to block another spam, served in a way that was decent and honorable and went the extra mile and put their lives in danger. In this case, especially in Afghanistan for the last 10 years, for, they talk about like, the respect towards a man who plants a tree, in whom shade he will never sit. The same thing is true of the Afghan government, the schools for girls, the military, all that stuff. The military the service people, the soldiers themselves, spent the last 10 years building that up when they would never directly benefit from it. Protecting a system so that these girls could go to school and so they could have a functioning government in that country. For 10 fucking years plus, the ones that were there when they left, like this is their, whatever third deployment or whoever, and then new people, the people who are actually there have been there a better part of a decade on and off. And those people spent a lot of time creating the situation where all those girls you hear about who got jobs and were having positions in government stuff, that was all because of these soldiers who stayed there in harm's way doing this shit. And this asshole is slandering those folks and saying that they surrendered and shitting on American soldiers every fucking chance he gets in front of a microphone. And Gene the Jesus machine over here, and therefore everyone at Flashpoint, is nodding and yupping about this bullshit. And maybe I'm extra sensitive about it after having just visited Arlington, but fuck him and fuck him. This is gross. This is grotesque. And fuck Bongino for not coming to their defense, and fuck Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and everybody at Fox News who carries water for this dickhead who stands by. Like, I don't expect them to like liberals or liberal plans or not shit on Joe Biden or whatever. That's expected. But this I put in the same category as these assholes beating cops and being okay with it, just writing it off as, well, they got baited into it. There was an FBI guy. We would have never beat up cops if we weren't lured into it. Get fucked.
I don't think they
I don't
will let
think
this
so
go.
either.
I think this is going to be one of those things that they're going to remember.
All right, last question. I know you
I'm
need
sorry, I've forgotten already what the fuck you were talking about.
to here soon. There are between 90 and 100 million evangelicals in America. And as you know, our Flashpoint audience is highly motivated part of that group. What's your message to them?
Meaning they're sociopaths who pretend to be Christians for the street cred that it gives them in certain rural neighborhoods. They sell. They're evangelical in the Flashpoint sense, in that they sell Jesus without driving the car themselves. They are someone who works on a lot selling Fords who drives a BMW home. That's what the Flashpoint evangelicals are. They sell products they don't use, and they view themselves as good at it.
Should they stay engaged with you and the nation during this tumultuous time?
So nobody has done more for Christianity or for evangelicals or for religion itself than I have.
The best part of that is pride cometh before the fall. But imagine saying that on a Christian program and the Christian host of that show going, totally, and their audience doing this. This asshole doesn't read the Bible. He's never read the Bible. He doesn't pray.
America. And
Listen to this shit.
Our Flashpoint audience is highly motivated.
They're nuts.
Part of that group. What's your message to them? How should they stay engaged with you and the nation during this tumultuous time?
So nobody has done more for Christianity or for evangelicals or for religion itself than I have. So many different things, getting rid of the...
No, not in the last 4 years. Not during my presidency. No president has done more, which is what you would say, I suppose, if you thought, I mean, holy shit, what a lunatic. But no person, yeah. I mean, I feel the need to come to the defense of John the Baptist at this point. No person, think about that. Jimmy Carter has made more Christians in his post-presidency than any preacher in the country. Guarantee it. Converted people. 1-to-1, absolutely. That people have looked at the quality of Jimmy Carter's life and how he dedicates his time and his behavior towards his fellow man and building houses for the homeless and the good work that he's done and gone, this obviously, if his faith is informing his behavior, then maybe there's something to this faith. This is just, I mean, like he literally went from shitting on soldiers to shitting on Jesus himself. And then, and Gene can't get enough of it.
Johnson Amendment, you know that? That's where people like you that we want to hear weren't able to speak because you lose your tax-exempt status, which is a...
Right, because you don't pay taxes. Now, you could always pay taxes and still be religious. See, the government can't make a church pay taxes. But a church can go, you know what, we are a church. However, free speech is worth it to us, so please give us a little extra tithe because we have to actually pay taxes on what we talk about here. And these days, for the record, Flashpoint, any of these other churches would absolutely make up that money in donations. You don't think for a second that their donations wouldn't go up and they wouldn't draw attention from a bunch of the psycho evangelicals to that particular church if they went, we started paying taxes as a business. We created an LLC for our church. That while we are a church and we are a spiritual building, we are creating we're joining the business community in how we do things simply to allow us to say whatever we want. because we are paying taxes. We are the whole taxation without representation. You don't get representation without taxation. That's the other side of that. And the churches swap that out. You don't get representation without taxation. You are a spiritual building. You talk about life here ever after and the behavior ethically and morally on the earth plane. But you don't talk about governmental shit or pick candidates or tell people how to fucking vote and marshal armies. If you're a church, that turns you into a PAC or a super PAC, and you pay fucking taxes.
Bad thing and very costly, and not even anything that you can do. But so many different things.
Gibberish.
We've done Mexico City policy. We could go down.
Mexico City policy? Sorry, I have to is there a real I can't tell if he Oh, it's the global gag rule is what he's talking about. Okay. Trump's Mexico City policy or global gag rule, which is you can't tell people that abortion is an option if anybody, if the NGO you're working with gets any government funds from the United States. This is protecting life and a global health assistance. This is and requires foreign NGOs receiving U.S. global health assistance to certify that they do not use their own non-U.S. funds, to provide abortion services, counsel patients about the option of abortion, refer to abortion, or advocate for the liberalization. Look at that. Anti-free speech law built right in.
Of items, and I said that Biden was going to be bad. He's turned out to be far worse than anybody ever thought. You talk about abortion, you talk about all of the subjects that you do.
Yeah, just all the subjects that you do and the things that you guys are like, what you like that I want to get you to think that I like and I'm for, and what I support that the stuff you guys like, I support that. And what he wants is the opposite of what you guys want.
Sunday and
That's
all
right.
during the week. And he's terrible on these subjects. And he lied. And just like they cheated on the election was rigged.
This is the only place he can go and blather this where they don't have to beep him out.
Happened. They also cheated very much on what they really think of.
Is this going to be of what, organized religion, or is he going to go to energy next?
Religion and frankly Christianity. And I said it was going to happen, but I had no idea it was going to be this bad. You take a look at what they're doing; it's destructive.
Sorry, what are they doing? Explain what they're doing. What are they doing? That's anti-church. Even abortion. If you're legalizing it, that doesn't preclude that the church can't make a moral argument against it. The church's job is the moral argument. The church's job is judge not lest ye be judged. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. The judgments in this life are beyond this life. They are not up to you to take. Therefore, what you go forth and teach all nations the gospel, the good story, right? That's what it is. That's what church is supposed to be. But what they've done now is it's just a demonizing arm of the GOP. That they're sick of trying to make the moral argument because it's a failure. They don't know how to make the moral argument because on the one hand, they want people to have fewer abortions or none at all. They want to make sure that nobody has an abortion, but they don't want to do anything for people who are pregnant, and they don't want to allow people to have any protections against things that would make them pregnant against their will, for example. Short sentences for rapists, parental rights, all that kind of shit. They just did a big SVU storyline, and it might be I'm way behind on those shows. It was I was watching on Hulu or something, where Mariska Hargitay is adopting a child that was a victim, that was the baby of a victim of a sexual assault, and the rapist wanted parental rights. He was like in the middle of the thing. It was that she railroaded him into this case so that she could get the child because she really wants a child. So she was gonna, that kind of idea. And it's seemingly an argument about if you're going to look at whatever the message overall of the story was. It was a 2-episode arc, I think. This guy's trying to get custody, he's filing stuff in court, right? So that he can get, he'll get, while she'll have to bring him to the prison while he's there and blah, blah, blah. And he's like a horrible, monstrous sex offender, like serial monster, just, and I'm trying to avoid saying the full words on it. It ended with him being shot. He took a officer's gun in the courtroom, tried to get out for some stupid reason, and then one of the other cops that they wanted to move to the West Coast for another show went in there and was wounded, blowing the guy's brains out, and he died. And she just gets the kid free and clear because they killed the guy, which would seem to be a rather strong statement on the storyline. It was a real feel-good ending, exactly.
Nobody's done so much for Israel as they have, as you know.
That's right.
With Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like killing the Iran deal.
And frankly, ending the Iran nuclear.
Right. Yeah, and allowing Iran to get closer to having a nuclear weapon again,
which is a disaster, and all of the other things I've done for.
I
Israel.
do need a Learjet, and the Lord has told me that if I don't get one in my 5 to 10 year plan, I might have to wait longer. So please give heartily. Use the Venmo. Put G5 in the header so I know where to put it.
And by the way, in the evangelical community, I actually get probably more credit for that than I do with Jewish people. But Israel's a very
awkward
important element. So nobody's done what I've done, and I'm very happy.
Yeah, you do know why that is, right? Because for the hardline evangelicals, the revelationists, they're apocalyptic Christians, and they believe that all the Jews have to be put back in Israel so that Christ can arrive on Armageddon, the hillside, and on the day he arrives, all the Jews can have their throats slit because they didn't believe he was the Messiah, and then he rules for 1,000 years and all that kind of stuff. These are the same assholes who tried to sneak a nuke into Israel to put under the Temple on the Mount. That's what you're talking about. That's the strange group that seems to like it more than Jews. I can't imagine.
Do it, and they've turned out to be much worse than anybody ever thought.
Right, agreed. Well, sir, thank you for what you did with Israel. As you said, the evangelical community is very supportive, and when the embassy moved to Jerusalem, that was huge. That rocked the world, and that's truly a major.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, it really, things feel so different. I don't think there's been any tension since. It certainly has shifted the rest of the world's feeling about Israel.
Milestone in your administration. I will let you go. Thank you so much for dropping.
More of a gallstone, but sure.
Flashpoint, thank you. And on behalf of the Flashpoint Army, sir, we're behind you.
Army, okay. Onward, Christian soldiers, kneeling before Trump. With our mouth wide open, he turns around and takes a dump. There we go.
For you, and we believe the best.
You guys, turn to your page 666 in your hymn books.
Is yet to come.
Well, Pastor, you're a great man, and everybody respects you and respects your voice.
Oh, God. This is he thinks the key is flatter people the way you'd like to be flattered.
And I am one of them. I'm at the top of the list. So I just want to tell you thank you very much for everything you've done. We've had tremendous success with exactly what you do. And
Jesus, this sounds like Jiminy Glick. I almost kicked my cable out. And thank you, David Duchovny, for being you. Because seriously, let me see. A moment of Jiminy Glick, if we can, just as a palate cleanser. There we go.
You're a overweight, frustrated, unsuccessful, stammering, stuttering, sweating, completely out of your element individual.
By the way, for the record, Jerry Seinfeld is Don Rickles going as a marshmallow for Halloween as a human being. That's what he is in real life, just so you know.
Aren't you kind? I'm sitting here with one of the great stars of Hollywood, one of the true insiders of Hollywood. Wonderful Steve Martin. How are you? I'm good. You were born Stephen Glenn Martin.
You've really done your research.
So that was after Glenn Gould, the wonderful piano player who would make all those memories. He made all those.
You know what?
This is, hold on. I'm going to grab a rando.
No, I think they're rude.
I guess.
Oh, yeah, this is.
Oh, I don't know. I think they're rude.
And please let me phrase this correctly, because you're a Jew.
No, I think you're wrong about that.
A Jew. Have rage. What's your big beef with the Nazis?
What's my big beef?
Yes, it seems like you're always
What's my big beef?
everything you're always knocking the Nazis. Oh, it's time for Mel Brooks to knock the Nazis, it seems.
The follow-up on this is
I
amazing.
think they're rude.
I guess.
It's so beautiful. You're knocking the Nazis. I guess. I don't know. I think they're rude. I guess. God damn, he's funny. We love you, Martin Short. Even though you flashed me in your robe when I was on your show. Not on purpose, but I don't think. We'll have to find out. Wait, he's saying goodbye to this fucker, and it's halfway through the clip. Can I just point that out? Thank you for being here, and this is 7:22. It's a 15-minute clip. What the fuck is going on?
To have helped.
Does he just keep rambling after this?
So much.
Thank you, Gene. Bye.
Well, all right, Lance.
I'm still hard.
You heard the president. What's your thoughts?
Oh, Lanny Walnuts didn't get to talk to him. Lanny, they fucking Gene the Jesus machine. He's just stiffed Lanny Walnuts.
Well, every time I'm with him, he talks about you, Gene, so it doesn't surprise me that you got the phone call.
I'm just
jealous. Look at him jealous. He's just grinding on the jealousy. He's so upset. Every time I'm with him, I'm not surprised you got the phone. Every time I'm with him. Let's look at this pissing match between these two sycophants.
Oh, there you go. I just, you heard he respects me, so I expect a little more out of you.
Well, he does. And
straighten your toop for one, out of respect for the enormity of Gene's forehead. Seriously, the man looks like a beer bottle.
And I think the fact that we should call you pastor, maybe. I think that maybe you should be maybe given that.
That's because he forgot his name. He talks about you all the time, and he calls you pastor because he assumes you're a pastor because it's a Christian thing.
Here a little more, but
that's all right.
I don't know. We see you as like the journalist pastor. You got a unique kind of hat.
There you go.
But look at this, like death by 1,000 cuts. Lanny Walnuts just shitting on him.
You asked though, Gene.
Thank you.
Those were very good questions.
They're great questions. They're so good. I learned so much.
Thank you very much. So, David Harris, what do you hear what he's talking about
the things that you do and the doing of the things. Don't blame me. I voted for Trump. Nice flag graphic, bruh.
He brought up moving the embassy back to Jerusalem because, that was huge.
Yeah, it was great. Didn't change anything except a couple people got killed. But there was a few days. But
massive for the American Christians. And the
Christians, the Jews of the country and the Christians of the rest of the world, not so much. Got a bunch of them killed. But, the important thing is you guys feel good. And you sold some books, I suppose.
It was almost like he's going to get that. He's going to do it. And then you're like, well, is he going to get it done before he's out of office? And then it's just
It's weird. It's almost like he did that instead of getting out of Afghanistan.
Weeks, and man, they're having the opening ceremonies. And I mean, it was a huge, Get it? Huge thing that he did.
Ew.
Huge. And it makes me sad too, Gene. That
Okay, so there's a bright side to everything. Then hold on one second. I've got to kill that window, otherwise I won't be able to. There's a to end everything. Yeah.
believers didn't see what President Donald Trump was doing while he was in office,
right,
and pay attention to that more than they did the mainstream media. Unfortunately, so many believers, obviously, if we just united around.
By the way, this is his way of letting everyone know that viewership is down.
The individuals that champion pro-life. Donald Trump was the first sitting president, to attend a
what?
Life rally.
Yeah. By the way, how close was that to him removing the rules of engagement around drone strikes entirely and allowing the civilian deaths to go up 80% in the first year, and that there were more drone strikes in his first year in office than there were in the entirety of the 8 years Obama was in office? Was he actually at the pro-life rally when he did that? Was he?
He did move our embassy to Jerusalem the last 3
Yeah, and honestly, we're still in boxes.
Presidents before him had all said that they were going to do that. They kind of held it out there as a carrot to the
yeah, like getting out of Afghanistan. Nah, this is way more important.
Community, and then they didn't get it done. He got it done, and he did it under budget. He continued
under budget. That's the important thing. He tripled the deficit from when Obama was in office, but he did it under budget.
Stand up for religious liberties, lifted the Johnson Amendment, like you said. If believers would just pay attention to the...
Well, they have been. They just saw the whole, grab him by the pussy thing, and the fact that E. Jean Carroll has a dress with his semen on it, and that he's going to have to get deposed for that, and that his son stole money from cancer charities and siphoned money from St. Jude's, and that he basically allowed somewhere in the order of 580,000 Americans to die unnecessarily because while he was downplaying something that he knew was dangerous and was rolling into the country. And apparently at this point, and by the way, I have, and we'll probably have to deal with it on Monday, a special report. Sky News Australia put out a special on the Wuhan lab story. And they are full on. You know how Sky News Australia feels about Trump. They are all in on the idea that it was a bioweapon. They're all in on that idea, that it was on purpose, that they started it at this military games, and that they were intentionally using it to poison the people from other states and spread it that way, on purpose. They gave it to them on purpose, either because, and then it got out of control, or they did it, but they attacked everybody who was at the games, foreign nationals, especially the United States, with this weird virus that then spread. So these are Trump fans, and that speaks well for his presidency.
Actions of individuals that are trying to represent us, and stop listening to especially the mainstream media, which is 90% at least, if not 95%, left-leaning bias.
90 to 95%. Do you have a chart you could show me? Like a chart that's like red lines going up that show the increase in bias on certain things, and then paired against reality and how the story actually panned out to give me that 90 to 95% thing? Or are you, as an evangelical representative of Christianity, lying?
An antichrist in nature, then we'd actually...
Antichrist? I'm glad you think that Biden is that charismatic, but I just don't think he's the guy.
Support individuals that do represent our values. So I think your interview was amazing. I always love hearing President Trump speak, and I always think
just the sound of his voice. If it doesn't even have to mean anything or even be true.
great as well that he's reached out to individuals like myself and you. We're not, you know, you're on a network. You have a very big network, and he's still reached out to you to say, hey, you know, but you're not Fox and you're not Newsmax.
Right.
But he said, I want to.
Yes, he's fallen this low. He needs all the help he can get, and he also knows he's seen the numbers on Flashpoint and the donations they get. That's what's up. That's why. He wants the people that chuck $5, $10, $20, $50, $100 at Flashpoint every fucking day to start chucking it his way. That's what that's about. That's why he's there. It's like in Tron when they had to create a branch line so they could move the ship to another thing. He had to reach down into the, you know what I'm talking about, where you could jump from line to line. He wants that connection. He wants to ricochet some of that cash that's going to Flashpoint into his super PAC, into the Save America super PAC.
The Christian community, I know what Flashpoint brings to the table. And
yeah, apparently they bring a knife, a fork, and a napkin and expect everyone else to buy dinner.
The audience that Flashpoint has, and I want to reach out to them. So we have a president that's tried to be transparent. I think he's been transparent.
Tried? Sorry, did he try to release his taxes and he just couldn't? He just couldn't. He tried to release the grand jury testimony from the Mueller investigation. He just couldn't. He tried. He tried.
About his entire presidency, he says what he means. He does what he says.
No, he does not. And again, it's one thing if like rando YouTuber just spouts bullshit with total disregard for honesty. But you're supposed to be a Christian station. You're supposed to be at least living up to a standard that other people should aspire to.
Unfortunately, we do not have that in the White House. And like Mario has said before,
soap is overrated.
I think that it's all things work together for good. And the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in office right now, hopefully every single believer that voted for them realizes their absolute and utter mistake.
Yeah, that's not happening, actually. Not at all, really. And it's going to get worse for you guys as the further we get away from Afghanistan. Because I got news for you. Biden's numbers that everybody's flailing about will be fine by Christmas. And then they're going to coast as this stuff gets passed and as we've gotten out of Afghanistan and we don't get into another war, any of that shit. Like, there's going to be supply chain problems. They're going to be dealing with, like, taxes and trade and building factories, and they're investing billions of dollars in making sure we have supply chains in the States for chips and all kinds of stuff. And there's tons of people who are going to get jobs out of that. And it's going to be painful for Republicans. Painful.
Doesn't ever let it happen again.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I wouldn't. I mean, I agree with your book. Hi, Chip. How are you? What you doing, buddy? I know. Come here. Come here. I know. Come here, buddy. Chip, hold on. He wants to visit for a second. 1 second. I know. We're getting long tonight, but not that long. Come here, buddy. Hi. Hello. Hello, little one. Hello. He just wants to come back again. You're just the star of the show today. You just are. Are you okay? Yeah? Are you feeling okay? Are you having fun? He's a kisser. He does. He's good with that. Yeah. Hello, buddy. Hello, buddy. I know. I'll be done in a little bit. He's such a good one. He's such a sweetie. Chip, you're amazingly sweet. Here, hop down. Sorry. All right. He's so cute. Like, it's just so, yeah. Yes, I'm going to weep like a baby missing Chip. I know that. I'm preparing myself emotionally. Unlike the Bonginos of the world, though, I don't see that as a weakness. All right. Let's continue with these fine gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the four horsemen of the Acropolis.
Mario, your thoughts, President?
I love him.
What I'm feeling tonight is that we're at a break.
Uh-oh. I always worry what Mario's feeling because they never show him from here down.
Point. We're watching it in New York. All of the metrics for our 10 Crusades starting Sunday show that it's going to...
Nice sales pitch there, Mario.
It's the grain. People are coming, unifying pastors on a level they've never seen. And what?
Yeah, sell it. Oh, it's gonna Western New York, a tent revival. Yeah, because those didn't happen in the fucking 70s. This is totally different.
Speaks to is the fact that unity is creating hope and forceful repentance, and people realize they can take their country back. And
why don't they just give it up to Jesus and trust that there's a plan there and try to live their life as the most honorable representation of their religion and know that that has reverberations throughout the universe because they live a life of impermanence in Christ, in theory. I mean, I don't know where I picked that up. It might have been when I was baptized when I was 11.
At some point tonight, I want to comment on a British journalist who...
Please don't describe a woman to us all.
I think is a danger to the left, even though he...
Oh my God. Is it going to be Russel Brand? No.
Himself is a Democrat and a leftist. He represents a force that we're about to see that's going to be used of God in a very unusual way. But for this moment, what I want to say to the audience...
What? Who? You can't just drop that. Who is it? Who's, what's the dude who has the weird talk show that everybody's on over there? I'm blitzing on it now because I don't watch that shit. I hate chat shows and... Yeah, he does look like a dinner theater Chuck Norris.
President Trump was just with us, and he said the media is corrupt. He told you they're corrupt.
Right. So what? Why would I take that as actually real? Why would anyone?
And one of the things is that the media is not covering any events that don't fit their narrative.
No, they're not. Like which ones? Like the Del Rio Bridge, which we saw endless video of, like the exit from Afghanistan, like flooding in Tennessee, both of the bills, the difficulties the Democrats are having getting, everybody on the same page. Which part? Please name a story for real. Graham, thank you. Graham Norton. That was the one. Yes, Beth. Thank you. Well done.
That there could very well be a massive event already in progress in America that none of...
Wait a minute. In America? Massive events in progress? You mean like a functioning democracy that continues to roll on and make positive changes for its citizenry and deal with its shortcomings of the past in a major way, like a country full of grown-ups would? That kind of thing? Or do you just mean some sort of weird lightning bolt where some like odd half-shaved Sasquatch lands on Earth and goes, bananas for everybody?
Know about. There could be an outpouring of God going on right now.
What kind of an outpouring are we talking about?
Because high tech and the media is muzzling so much, we don't have any idea what may be happening right now, but I'm telling you.
Yeah, you know what? Ever since Mario got banned from Twitter, his windows don't work. Have you noticed that? Like you just go to the window and it's brick. I mean, it's a shitty apartment in San Francisco. What are you going to do? It's an expensive place to live. Of course, you're going to open your windows and see brick. But still, I blame Jeff Bezos.
Something. It's about to break. It's about to break wide
open.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time? You using the whole fist, Doc?
All right.
Open.
That's right.
No, it isn't. By the way, besides selling an ad for his tent revival bullshit, did that fucker say anything? Did he? Did he say anything? Did he say anything? Did he say anything?
You know,
and these guys are like, yeah, oh, yeah, You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's a thing, and it's like there's lots of like there's gonna be, and it's like probably gonna like right now you can feel it. There's like a maybe talking. Speaking in tongues out of his own backside. This is Mario speaking in tongues.
Lance, watching.
Licking. Wait a minute. No. What? It's one thing to watch the president, but
now, because high tech and the media is muzzling so much, we don't have any idea what may be happening right now. But I'm telling you something. It's about to break. It's about to break wide open.
That's right. Lance, watching.
Licking, watching, licking the president. Watching the president, saying what's going on, licking what's going on in the lick my face.
President Trump there. And,
licking President Trump there. Holy shit. What a... Dude, you can't... There's too many Freudian slips in one show.
My very first guest when we first started this program over a year ago. And seeing where we've come, I mean, it truly is amazing.
It's amazing. It's a testimony to how far you can get tax-free.
To see where we've come. On the other side of that, what you said, David and Mario, the fact that he has to come somewhere that's not the mainstream media.
The fact that he look at it. I could not ask for a better send-off of this clip than we literally have a moment where Gene the Jesus Machine, Lanny Walnuts, Mario Scario, and the Trumpinator, I don't know what's happening here, that these guys are all going to admit that, holy shit, it's so bad Trump has to come talk to us. Because that's what he's saying. Like, he could, the big mainstream media outlets that should be taking his phone call, and none of them are.
Mainstream media is now us, because we're where people are getting their news.
Yeah, that's what you are. You're the mainstream media. So thanks, Gene. So anytime somebody says, like when Bongino or Glenn Beck or somebody says the mainstream media is the problem, the mainstream media is awful, they're full of lies, they manipulate people, they're trying to get people killed, they don't tell the truth, it's all science and misinformation. Anybody says that, just remember they're talking about Flashpoint from now on. Just for the record, that's what Gene's telling you.
Every one of you guys, they're getting their news because they trust you.
I didn't want to be left out of the nodding line.
They trust us, and this is the new norm. No longer.
No, it is not. This is not going to be regular. Former presidents are not going to be calling into Flashpoint. There's no point where that Obama, Clinton, Bush 2, none of them are going to, Jimmy Carter, they're not going to start. This is the place where former presidents come to bitch about the news. This is not the new norm. That's just fucking dumb.
Is it the other mainstream outlets?
It's beautiful. It's lovely.
It's lovely. I enjoy the illusion of power.
It's as long as we have the freedom we've got and we have the capitalist economy.
Yeah.
As long as we have the freedoms we've got and the capitalist economy, as long as we have the tax-exempt status and an ability to sucker blue hairs into sending us money all the time, both here and in our own churches, I can forever rub my hands together like a dinner theater Bond villain.
Can create ways.
God damn, how do you have a church and be that creepy? Honestly, Lanny, I'm just saying, you got smelly crawl space written all over you.
Working around the system. I want to remind everyone here, it's a little bit of a concept, but it's worth learning.
All right, here we go. This is going to be a tough one. here we go. Everybody got their number 2 pronsel out. Make sure you have a number 2 pronsel. And here we go.
The Reformation with Luther was initially
yes. And Luther, if you don't know, by the way, is the villain in Runaway that Gene Simmons plays. Ramsey, some people get him mixed up. Ramsey is not the Pharaoh. He's actually the character that Tom Selleck plays. Luther plays. All right.
An invitation to the Catholic Church.
Lex Luthor? No, Lex Luthor was bald. He would sometimes wear a toupee.
In the Dark Ages to reform. When they rejected it, God decided to go outside of the mountain of the Catholic Church and create his own mountain. And
that's right. It was the 2 mountains policy.
The Protestant movement. The Protestant movement was created.
And by the way, he's not talking about the regular Protestant movement, the actual growth of the Protestant church and the break off of all those things. He's talking about his own. All right.
Because a wineskin wouldn't judge itself and adjust to the truth. The media is the wineskin of
the media is the wineskin, and that would make you the Weinstein of this analogy. No, the foreskin, right.
Right now. But God is creating a new wineskin, and it's
all right, but he must be exhausted. He's got to come up with a new wineskin every couple hundred years. These pass like milliseconds to him. He must feel like he's kind of creating a new wineskin again, because we all know that God time is he just perceives. If you don't die, you perceive time very differently. It just rolls through.
Media. And into that new media. Programs like this,
yeah, the Lord has poured me into your wineskin.
Real America's Voice, programs like Newsmax, programs.
Again, by the way, we have another moment of sales. Is that in here? Yeah. We have another moment of just how do I couch bullshit around my pitching the network.
I like wood.
And find a way to get people to understand.
Deeper and longer.
That's right.
We've got on those platforms.
We need to throw in Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh my. He asked me to be on his show. I said no.
A new movement. And the people.
Yes, there's a new movement.
I like wood.
Wow.
All right.
God are going there in droves. So we're taking a little.
Well, not droves. People are going to like Foo Fighters shows and Kiss concerts in droves. They're going to like Lollapalooza in droves. They're going in small, slow-moving groups full of walkers and rascal scooters. But I get you. Okay, please continue.
To reconstruct a platform for President Trump, but trust me, there is...
Really? That's what's happening? They're going to Frankenstitch Newsmax, OAN, Flashpoint, and I guess Gitter together into a platform for Trump? For God.
The way that God works in history, and if a sphere rejects reform when God wants it to change, he'll create a competing structure that will take it on and take it down.
Yeah. Why didn't you just change the hearts of the people in there through good works and inspiration? The in spiritu, the spirit entering it. No?
Boy, that's the truth. And we are that structure.
Guys, yeah. I was almost left out of the nodding.
We're all willing to step into that place.
No, we're not. No. I am not willing to step into that place by any means.
What?
All right.
We're doing, yeah. And it's what an honor to have President Trump on for sure.
Shit, that was it. That was oh God. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I have so much stuff though. It's just so like, guys. This is a little boring, but whatever. And then whatever. I I just have to show you this. I don't even know that we need to do the clip. I'll just end on this. But I think this outfit alone gets 5 eggs. I've been trying to figure out. I think Glenn Beck is trying to turn himself into an action figure. And not like a name action figure, more like a Fisher-Price man. Like this is probably a secret plan that Glenn Beck has to make a huge fortune selling paper dolls of himself. There's Cowboy Glenn Beck, and there's Rancho Glenn Beck, and then there's Cowboy Columbo. I don't know what the fuck. He's turning himself into a Fisher-Price character. And always at the last minute, this thing to hide is either, and we have not decided, we don't know, to hide his neck waddle because he's vain, or to hide the fact that he's had something else removed from his skin that may or may not be healthy, which we've seen a couple of times after his sunburns. Which might be real sunburns, or might be from spa facials in places like, the spa towns in Arizona, places where that's the primary thing you go there for. He reeks of that shit. He's got Glenn Beckaroo. Yes, there's also a competing theory that Glenn Beck is a marsupial. Now, I'm not willing to check. But I am willing to take it as wrote. That maybe he's not overweight. Perhaps he's just carrying around a baby kangaroo. But the whole thing is, you guys I've been telling you about electricity shortages in China and what's going on with, I don't know, we've mentioned those. I've been watching a lot of stuff on it lately, but we haven't talked about it much. But the Evergrande Chinese collapse and stuff. And this is the problem with this clip. And I don't even have to show you this. We'll move on tonight because it's 12 minutes long, and that means an hour. And because he's going to lie so much during the whole thing and craft some sort of bullshit. But this is welcome to Glenn Beck shitting where he eats. Because this phrase right here, electricity shortages in China mean coming empty shelves here. He is basically excusing the Biden administration for future inflation and bottlenecks in the supply chain. Today is President Jimmy Carter's 97th birthday. That's why we have mentioned him, and absolutely. Thank you, Mark. This I don't know if Glenn intends to do this, but this is what he's doing with this whole hashtag Blazeview, hashtag Glenn Beck, hashtag China, whatever the fuck. Not doing as well as his other videos, although it's brand new, 8,000 views. And I'm sure, having been to China multiple times, and I don't know that he's ever been, and like I said, speaking Chinese and traveling in China a lot, knowing that Glenn Beck has not, insofar as I know, he's largely going to be talking out of his ass. But the end result of this video, by its name alone, is that he is and God knows we've seen Glenn Beck videos where he has a title that does not match up with the content. Happens all the fucking time. But electricity shortages in China mean coming empty shelves here, which means it's not Biden's fault. When you can't buy things and things aren't available and they're not around. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can do this. The problem I have is I don't know why this is. Hold on. Done. And hold on. It's coming. Trust me on this. Did I have a special button for it? I thought I did. No, probably not. Okay, I'll have to do it over here. It's time to play with the Glenn Beck action figures. Mom got me a new Glenn Beck action figure. This one I like to call I have Cowboy Glenn Beck, and I have Mexican restaurant, a margarita night, Glenn Beck. This is cowboy park perv, Glenn Beck. So he wears, it's the same as a regular cowboy outfit, except he wears no pants and a long trench coat. And then he goes around and says, "What? Do you want to see my neck waddle or option number 2?" And since he always knows people will turn down the first one, he's now got a warrant out for his arrest. This is my Glenn Beck action figure. Glenn Beck action figure. Doesn't have a hat because it blew right off, and he walks through the park and he flashes the kids. And this is Ranger Beck. This is Ranger Beck. You pull a string on his back, he talks out of his ass. He wears a cravat to try and show some class, but it's just a rag after all. Check it for DNA. Now, my special report today is for my class, for Zoom class project. My topic is stranger danger. And I could not find a better example than cowboy park perv Glenn Beck outfit, because this is what he wear. And I've seen him 7 or 8 times hang around a bus stop, sometime by ice cream truck. One time I was there, he said, "Do you like orange push-ups?" And I wasn't gonna fall for that twice. So I called the police, because that's what you do when you see Glenn Beck coming up to you. It's an easy song to remember. Call the police. It's what you do when you see Glenn Beck coming up to you. Remember that, kids. Thank you, Mrs. Severinson. I did. I'm gonna mention it next time. I don't have a full body picture that I can show in class. It's terrible. It's terrible. He's a terrible man. Like, I thought nothing could. I like fried chicken. And I thought never someone could make me not want to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then here comes Colonel Perv. And I was like, I'm not going anymore. Stranger danger. Go away. So this is not, that's my end of my classes. This is. Did I do good? Did I do good? I hope so. I'm gonna try to help out everybody, because in your life there's a lot of awful in the world, but there's the mommies and there's the daddies and the kiddies, and things are so good and nice and sweet, and always focus on those things. And one of the ways that you can live long enough to enjoy the greatest things that life has to offer is anytime you're standing at the ice cream truck. If you see Glenn Beck walking up to you, you call the police. It's what you do. Just remember that, and I'll help you a lot. Amen and scene. Okay. Bye, everybody. Oh, where the kitty?